Hello, my beautiful babies, and welcome to Incal Club Session 2, the Luminous Incal. For this session, you need to have read the Luminous Incal. The Luminous Incal portion of the comic book. And so first we are going to get into a little bit of a recap situation. And then after our recap, we're going to go to some Patreon questions. So let me first make myself a little bit smaller, and then we'll get started. Here we go. This is my favorite part right here. I have the sound effects in there. That sort of makes it really, the really professional is when you put the sound effects in there like that. All right, let's see here. Maybe I should put myself like here, maybe. I feel like this is pretty good. All right, here we go. So in our second issue, the Luminous Incal, we have Depot flying through the Techno City, and he's looking for John. He finds him being held captive at the center of this dark ritual, being led by the leader of the technos, the Techno Pope, who is heralding the release of their shadow egg. We've heard them talking about it in the last episode. And it is this giant black egg-shaped let's see here. See, look at this. Look at these guys are going nuts here. It's this giant black egg-shaped entity who will go out into the universe and swallow entire suns to bring the cosmos into the great darkness. So these guys are up to no good. And I love the idea of, in the far future, there are people, a whole faction of people. They kind of remind me of the Guild from Dune, the technos, who have taken on their technology as a religion. And they are being led by their Techno Pope. And I mean, they're, participating in rituals. I thought another really great little thing about them, by the way, this is the shadow egg. How great is this egg? I mean, wow. The spider page is so cool. I'm really a big fan. It kind of reminds me of the Asmodeus spider page from Promethea, from Alan Moore's Promethea. It gave me some of those vibes. But yeah, this is such, again, Mœbius art. It's just like, we could talk about it all day. We could go off about it all day. It's too good. He's too good. But yes, if you notice the technos, all of them wear these little helmets, and they see everything through dark lenses. Like, their perception is skewed, which I really just love that little detail that they put in there. I also like their little symbol. It's kind of reminiscent of the swastika a little bit there. It's, and I like that they're using the 4. 4 is like stability. It's like a number of stability. So we have this square. But here is the egg flying off into space to swallow the sun. What a bummer. And now that the egg has been launched, they turn their attention. I'm gonna push myself over, actually. Sorry, excuse me. I want to be over here. They turn their attention back to John and prepare to dissect him in order to get the white Incal that is inside of him. And moments before John is eviscerated, Depot swoops in and shatters the Techno Pope's crown, his psycho abdomen, briefly stunning him and nullifying his powers. And I just it's like, wow, like you have this thing floating over this guy's head. It's really weird. And I did not call it that you could fly through it and it would just it's made out of some sort of weird liquid and it explodes into all of these tiny little balls. And now his Techno Pope's powers have been briefly nullified and he's stunned I love in this panel how he's like now that his crown's been destroyed, and it's just like he's kind of sucked in here. So before the Technopope's crown can reform, John and Depot escape into a trapdoor at the top of the shadow egg generator. And also just, I love the reforming of his crown. It's like very well done. Very cool. Again, thank you, Mœbius, for everything. Here they are going into the trapdoor. Oh, maybe we'll get out of this. Oh no, maybe not. Maybe we're heading for something even worse. And again, this panel is so cool as well. But yeah, these guys, what a bunch of nerds. So moving on, meanwhile, we've got the Meta Baron, and he is trekking through a cold tundra towards the Techno City, and he finds a squadron of Bergs who are also on their way to the Techno City, and he stuns them, leaving them in the snow while he treks forward before they can assassinate him, because they were totally getting ready to assassinate him. And back in the Techno Temple, John and Depot explore their strange new surroundings. They're in this void. There's like this weird little sphere that they're walking on. They're exploring it. And DeFool declares personal victory. Here we go. Just think, I beat the Technos by myself. Me, John DeFool, pathetic class R detective. Me, ha ha ha. And then Depot's like, yeah, right. All I did was smash his psycho abdomen with my beak. Like, come on, dude. Like, this guy is pure ego. Like, John is so wrapped up in his ego. And he is also refusing to confer with the Incal. Depot's like, bro, like, why don't you ask the Incal, like, what's up? And he's like, bro, I've been living my whole life without. I think I go 10 minutes without asking the Incal what's up. And then that is, you know, his ego is all big until that is he meets the Cardio Claw. This giant green awesome scorpion with like cybernetic enhancements. And then he changes his tune really quickly. Incal, oh, please answer me quick. Oh, you know, and it's like, how many of us in our lives have, you know, been like, you know, it's only when you're in danger or only when something bad is happening that you call out to God. You know, how many of us have been on the toilet and you're just like, please, God, I'm so sorry. Like, whatever I did, just like, please make the pain stop. like how many of us, I'll never do this again, XYZ, you know, like I'll never, you know, we're all kind of guilty of it sometimes. And so his little flamey self at his crotchal region that we met last time, he's like, you know what? We got powers now. Just launch yourself at him. So he's like, okay. He goes nuts, launches himself at the creature in a rage. He's immediately caught in the Cardio Claw's webs and begs the Incal for help. And it is only after John lets go of his ego and says, have pity. Help me, I'm yours. He surrenders himself that the Incal is like, oh, phew, I'm glad you finally surrendered to me. I will help you out, and gives him some laser blasty eyes, and he blasts the Cardio Claw with his luminous Incal powers out of his eyeballs. It gives him like an optic blast. And the fearsome beast transforms into this meat flower with the black Incal in the center of it. And John takes the Incal, and the Technos lose their power and their city crumbles. But yeah, I also love how, you know, Jodorowsky is saying, in order to let the divine work through you, you have to surrender to the higher power. You have to surrender to it, and then it can work through you. And I think it's very beautifully illustrated here in this moment. So back at the tippy top of the flying presidential palace that we went to last issue, there is a pleasure garden. And the hunchback, one of the hunchbacks, alerts His Supreme Highness, the president, that the Techno City has been destroyed and urges him to contact the emperoress of the human empire. And I mean, just look at this guy. I mean, it's just like, this is just the decadence of like the elite is just, this really made me think of both the fall of Rome and also like right before Marie Antoinette, you know, and like France had their revolution, where it's like the elites were just so incredibly decadent and just like just didn't give a fuck and just totally disconnected from reality. And this seems to be a pattern we see in societies where, you know, things get better and better and better, you know, and then eventually things kind of collapse, which is beautifully illustrated in this chart up here. Let me kind of move myself down a little bit. Let me see here. Let me kind of put myself up here. Yeah. So, you know, I don't know if you've seen this chart. I kind of like this chart. It says hard times create strong men, which, you know, then that goes strong men create good times create weak men create hard times, and then the hard times create strong men. Like, it's this real fun circle of life. So right now, you know, we've had good times, obviously, and they've created weak men. And these weak men are getting ready to create hard times. So, you know, get ready. I feel like us personally, we've had it really good for a long time. And that's kind of where we're at as well. Maybe I'm wrong. Moving on to our next slide. Back at the rubble of the techno city, a withered techno priest finds DeFool unconscious and attempts to kill him with a big rock until he is thwarted by a mysterious woman riding a giant rat. DeFool awakens to see his savior, recognizing her from the depths of his subconscious. I've waited 10,000 years for you. I've dreamt of you 10,000 times. And she communicates with him psychically, like wordlessly. And he just gives her the black Incal, like no words exchanged, just like, here you go, mama. It's all for you. And Anima, she gives him his name before she leaves. She says her name is Anima. And this is a play on the Jungian concept of anima, A-N-A-M-A. There's no H. And that is the subconscious feminine aspect of the male psyche. So, according to Carl Jung, you know, men have this unconscious, perfect female portion of themselves in their psyche. And so kind of that's what she is to John. It's like you have John, this very imperfect man, and she's like the perfect woman to him. And it's according to Jung, you know, it's up to you to, you know, bring this subconscious feminine aspect of yourself to the surface and then to integrate with your feminine aspect that you can be, you know, a more whole being. And I love that he gets panicked when he thinks that he'll never see her again, and he chases after her into the snow. And he's like, wait a minute, what the fuck? What did you do? Like, he comes back to his senses. He's like, what did you do? You gave her the Incal. He's like, give me back my Incal, you bitch. My beloved, come back. Don't leave me alone. Come back. Oh, and he freaks out, like panicking. And, you know, he's got a little bit of the old whore Madonna complex. If you're not familiar with that, that is something where people can view women in this very binary way of they're either, you know, whore, bitch, slut, whatever, you know, all the negative connotations, or the Madonna, the perfect woman, you know, like Mary, Mother of Christ. It's like you're either this saint or you're this prostitute. You know, and that's some people have this schism. They have a real problem. But yeah, so back at the city shaft. Oh, also he finds, homeboy finds Depot, and they are immediately captured by the Meta Baron. And he means business. This guy is so done with this mission. He's so done with it. He's like, please, I got to take you back. So back at the city shaft, The riot that started in John's apartment has blossomed into an all-out war with everyone working together to siege the presidential palace. Treaties have been violated, nucleos have been launched, and the palace's shields have been breached. Here we go from the underside, and you see all these different factions working together. So not only is there a mock, but there's also the Ionist phalanxes, the blue sedentarists. So there's a whole situation going on here. They're trying to climb into the hall of the presidential palace here. And I'm in the way. Let me move myself. Again, I love this panel here with Kill Wolfhead leading the troops. You know, it reminds me of that communist propaganda artwork that you see where all the workers are, like it's that propaganda look. It's so well done and like perfect. I love this revolutionary little illustration here. And another thing that I really, really appreciated about this page is this guy. So not only do you have a revolution happening, but you have the media who is covering the revolution. And Jodorowsky even has something to say about that. And if you didn't know, Jodorowsky was very involved in the theater. And so he understands theater. And this is, showing news theater, media theater, where the anchor is, getting ready to go on screen and they're like, give him some tears. And like she's spritzing him in the face with like fake tears. And he says, don't forget the fake burns. And now he's ready, dear telefriends. You're lucky to be safe and snug in your conups as you watch this incredibly massive riot on your holovids. And it's great that he was already onto this so long ago. This has been going on for a long time. this news theater has been going on for a long time, and I really appreciated this little triplet of panels here. I thought it was really funny. And another thing too, another comment on news media and stuff is like you have these people watching all of this, and this guy over here is like, oh, another riot show? This is getting boring. And he's like, no, this is really interesting. Like, no, this isn't a show, dude. Like, this is real life. They're really trying to lynch the president right now, which is like, and you see it from both sides. So like, not only does he satirize, or not really satirize, but like kind of show the truth of like news from one angle, from behind the camera, he also shows it from the other perspective as well, from that of the viewers. So anyways, back to, oh my God, this page is so good. So in a desperate move, the Hunchbacks have launched a counterattack, the Hyper Halo, and they are ready, but Amok is ready. They have their personal inverters and they continue their climb into the palace. But so it's like, so I guess the Hyper Halo is this thing where if you get caught in this light that comes down, like you explode into like a giant thing, like Inside Out or something. Like this is such a cool, like he's like, oh no, my inverter, he's all exploded out like a giant berry. It kind of reminds me of like Willy Wonka business a little bit, like some nightmare berry, like raspberry business going on here. But then they got the big inverter finally going, so they can keep going. It's totally chill. But yeah, so here's just, I just wanted to show it to you a little further up close. Let me get myself out of the way here. Fuck, hold on. No. I'm trying to move. There we go. Yeah, like, look how good this is. This is just so well done. Oh no. And it's like, oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's like, I love it. This is one thing that I really hope to see in the Taika Waititi movie. Please. I know, F in the chat for Cruff. Poor guy. This sucks so bad. But really well done. Like really beautiful illustration as always. So we're back up at the top at the pleasure garden. And he's still chilling, having a little soiree while all this is going on, not giving a fuck. He's got all these people around him. They're just having like a little tea party, a little picnic here. And I love this in particular. If riots don't exist, we'd have to invent them, because like all these people from up here are just looking down like, oh, like this is so great. Oh, these rides are hilarious. And he's just like, yes, if they didn't exist, we'd have to invent them. That's another very, very powerful piece of wisdom in this comic. But we have a hunchback here, and he is messing up the tea party. He's like, you have got to move your fat ass, pig, and warn the emperor. But he's got halo sickness, and he turns into a crazy berry. But before he turns into a crazy berry, he throws the royal transmitter, which has already been activated. And the emperoress, the person who is above, his supreme highness, is on the line. And, his ass is on the line. So let's move on here. So he's got to go. The hull has been breached. He's got to leave his little tea party, and he's got to go on the run and contact the emperoress. And the people are right outside the door. And I love this also. He's got a stupid little cape, but then it gets caught, and he's like, ugh! Like it catches him. I think that's a really well done, cute. Like you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to put that in there, but you just did, and we love you for it. So the people are outside. They're trying to get in. He's on the line, and oh my gosh, check out who it is. This is his boss. This is the boss of the human universe, the emperoress. No capes as the invisibles, or no. Yeah, invisibles. Yeah, definitely no capes for sure. That was a good one, Calore. Anyways, so we got this guy. She person, and this person, really, this conjoined twin, reminds me of Rebus. This is an alchemical androgyne, someone who is both male and female. It's the divine hermaphrodite, where they are conjoined. And like we were talking about earlier with anima, the Jungian concept of, combining with your feminine self. And like, this is like, a product of that union. You don't obviously literally, when you do that, look like this, but that's kind of how it was illustrated back in the day. And I think it's a real fun illustration. No, not Anubis, Rebus, Rebis. You can look that up. But His Supreme Highness grovels as the emperoress berates him for his gross negligence, which has produced a dark intracosmic horror of the shadow egg, which puts everyone in the universe at risk. Good job. You are the worst. And the conjoined twins send their imperial fleet to deal with the Bergs. And task the president with finding out information about the shadow egg, and especially like you need to figure out how to destroy this, like because it's over here. This is weird. We don't like this. You got to figure this out, and you also have to find this Incal business. So now the president's on his way back at the Amok secret lair. The queen, the Metabaron, is back with John's body. So the queen has John's body. It's ready for dissection. She's basking in her imminent victory over the president. And before her surgeons can retrieve the white Incal, the Metabaron demands she respect their agreement and deliver his son, Soloon, back to him. She's just not going to do that, knowing Soloon is a powerful being who will one day challenge her for power. She double-crosses the Metabaron and orders him and his surrogate son to be destroyed, as well as John's body to be dissected. Suspecting that she would do this, and because she is sus as hell, the Metabaron has kept John secretly alive, and at her command of death, all three of them spring into action against the horde of Amok killers. And yes, I saw someone in the chat, Jimmy Nails, the dichotomy, the sun and the moon. Yes, Soloon. So Soloon, that is, you have Loon, moon, which is the feminine aspect, the sacred, divine, feminine aspect. And then Sol, sun, which is the divine masculine aspect. So this person has a name that combines both of those things. And you also see them on his shirt. You have the full circle with the moon inside of it as well. So this is another kind of being person who has combined their feminine and masculine energies. Like Jodorowsky's obsessed with that shit. Like, he loves that shit. Like, he is all about it. If you didn't know, he kind of talks about that a lot in ways that are, there's ways that are positive that happens, and there's ways that are negative that happen. If you see Santa Sangre, there's a character in that movie where it's like a dude, but he's like possessed by his mother, like in a very toxic, like negative way, a very toxic mother. And like, she's like his arms, like beside him, and it's like doing everything. And it's like really weird. Like, I don't know. He's really into this. And he also thinks too, like I've read in some of his interviews, that he thinks that there shouldn't, in a hierarchy, there shouldn't be just one person at the top. Like, he feels like there should be a president and a presidenta. There should be a male and a female person at the top of every hierarchy, which I think is a really interesting concept. I think that's very fascinating. So back at the palace, the rebels have breached the airlock, and they find the president's lifeless body. Oh my goodness. But Kill is like, wait a minute, this seems like a trap. And oh my God, it is. The president has taken his consciousness and he has put it into something called the necrodroid, which is a killing machine, and just starts slaughtering everyone with his new cybernetic body. He's just killing rebels left and right. He's having a great time. Kill. I've already exterminated over 100,000. Soon every rebel will be dead. Haha. And then I'll take care of the Incal. I can feel it moving down there. Haha. This new body doesn't lack sensuality after all. And, the necrodroid is, necro, dead, droid, machine. So this is like a killing machine. And I think it's beautiful how they have transformed a symbol of ultra decadence, and that it has transmuted into a killing machine, like how that has led directly into this, and how much this person of ultra decadence is having such a great time killing everybody. It's two sides of the same coin. Again, like weak men, hard times. So like this weak man is now going to give everyone a hard time. Let me go to my next page of notes here. Meanwhile, Kill arrives back at the secret lair, and he comes back in time to find that Saloon, the Meta Baron, and John have dispatched all of their attackers. And he warns the queen that the necrodroid has been released and that their army is being destroyed. Accepting her defeat, the queen brings up that they do have an ace in the hole. They're like, John has the white Incal and the black Incal. And then John's like, about that. I totally gave it to a woman. They're like, wait, what did you do? And he says her name is Anima. And then we get a lot of drama here, because she knows who Anima is. Her, fuck, and then he's like, my mother. So it's Saloon's mom. And then, earlier we learned that he was a surrogate son. He's not really his biological father. And so he knows Anima is the rat queen. So being painted in a corner, the Queen of Amok is like, hey, let's just team up and get out of here. Like, what do you say? We're all going to get fucked. So let's just go. She leads them through her underground tunnels, reveals that there is a vast world at the center of this planet beneath the acid lake. Everyone thinks the acid lake is the bottom. Not true. Hollow Earth theory. There's a lot more going on in there. And that is where she and her sister Anima come from. So she is sisters with Anima, and she also, her name is Tanita. And Tanita is a play on Thanatos, which is the Greek personification of death. And so you have these two sisters. Tanita was the keeper of the black Incal, and she, kind of is, with the death urge. Anima is with the white Incal, so she has the life urge. And they're both sisters. They're, again, two sides of the same coin. Also, I love that, her and Anima come from this underground place, which symbolizes the subconscious. So it's like you have the city shaft and, the world above, and you have the acid lake, and people think like that's the bottom and that represents the conscious mind. But no, there's more. And these two women have come from the subconscious part of this world. And so she was originally the guardian of the Black Incal, but she stole it. She came to the surface to gain power. She exchanged the Incal for her Black Incal for techno science. And now that her plan has failed, she must return below and reunite the two Incals. So the group boards the damaged metacraft. They're kind of using it as a raft to get across to another opening, another way into this underground world, but are sucked into a mysterious whirlpool. Wow. And that is the end of the Luminous Incal. Let me move myself. Like, gosh, this is so nice too. Like these just little figures down here, like all bracing themselves to be sucked into the whirlpool. Let me make myself a little bigger here. All right, here we go. And then let me turn back my graphics on. Here we go. All right. So how did you guys do with May's meditation challenge week 1? Last week, we were all meditating for whoever chose to do this for 5 minutes at a time. I gave you some different options. I personally did it. It was tough, but I feel like I did make some progress and I feel really good about it. And this week, I want us to all try 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes a day of meditation. Those of you in the chat who are participating, what happened? Did you have a good time? Did you learn anything? Did you give up? Did you fall off the horse? A lot of you forgot. Oh no. It doesn't have to be first thing in the morning. No, John George, it does not have to be it can be at any time, It is said that it's, some people recommend doing it right when you wake up or right before you fall asleep can be very helpful, but you can do it at any time. Rose Heckett wrote family drama got in the way. Let's see here. Did not forget. Good for you. Got tangled on other things. Let's see here. I meditated. Okay. I did do the challenge. I didn't do the challenge. I meditated, but not the way it was set up. I like to use the 4 count thing. Okay, cool. I tried a couple of different things. I tried the thing where I, the alchemical visualization. I tried that, and then I also tried the Zazen stuff. And one thing that I feel like I've figured out that will help me in my Zazen meditations, is they always say, okay, you have to observe your thoughts. You let them happen though, like they're separate from you. And that's something that's always been a little bit of a mind fuck for me. It's like, well, how do I have a thought, but I'm also observing it at the same time? Like how do you do that? Like that seems kind of hard. and so what I came up with was I tried to do this thing, like when I'm sitting there thinking, I try to think from a third person perspective, like Danika's thinking this or I'm thinking this or something, like instead of having the thought, I phrase it like in my brain from like a third person perspective and like just frame it that way. And that was like, oh, okay. Like that seemed to make it easier for me to like not get like sucked into it. I felt like that was helpful. And I was like, oh, wow. I came up with a thing that I feel like might be helpful. So you could try that this week for your 10-minute situation. Acknowledge them, but let them pass by. Yeah. It's like, it's, I don't know. It's tough though. It's hard. It's like, it's a slippery beast. Also for session 3, I want you guys to read What Lies Beneath, which is the next issue in the series. And, we're going to be back Sunday at 3:30 for our next session. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and doing this comic book club with me. This is so much fun.